That's all right. Eric Rowe.
Yep.
We're going to take our Super Bowl, the guy that made the play of the Super Bowl, the greatest defensive player in Super Bowl history. We're going to put him on the bench.
The whole game.
We're going to take the guy that y'all released, and we're going to beat y'all with it.
I'll show you. Yep.
And that's how he thinks, Skip. Coach Belichick believes that he deserves more credit than he got for Tom Brady. Because everybody like, I took him.
Sure.
In the 6th round. Nobody else had no grade on. Tom Brady got the credit that he skipped. If Tom Brady was a first-round draft pick, let's just say first round. We don't have to say first overall. Tom Brady wouldn't be thought of like he is. It's because he came from virtually obscurity.
Yep.
In everything, the MVPs in the regular season, the Super Bowl wins, as many times as he won the game-winning drives. Coach Belichick say, y'all don't want to give me no credit for that, huh? I don't get nothing. Now, everybody else quarterback, that the head coach, he gets some credit for it. But I don't get nothing. Coach Belichick said, you know what I'm going to do? Y'all see what I did with Matt Castle?
Yeah.
Tom Brady went down in 2008. I went 11-5, which is an anomaly, Skip, that 11-5 team wasn't even a wild card.
Yep.
We get that sometimes because we saw the New Orleans Saints this year go 13-3 and become a wild card. He said, did y'all see what I did with Jimmy G and Garoppolo? Jacoby Brissett.
Yep.
I went 3-1 when Tom went 4 games. So you mean to tell me if I get Andy Dalton, I'm going to add a few more weapons. And people say, well, if you're going to add weapons to give Andy Dalton, why don't you give those same weapons to Tom Brady? Coach Belichick looks at it like this. At some point in time, I can't keep kicking the can down the road. I'm eventually have to pick the can up, Skip, and move on. Coach Belichick says, I love Tom. Look at what we've been able to do. But at some point in time, I've got to move on.
And he deserves the right to see if he can win without Tom Brady.
For sure.
And Tom deserves the right.
Okay.
I mean, whether he wants to do that or not, Skip.
Yep.
So I believe that, I believe, Skip, the question is a 32, 33-year-old Andy Dalton next year, will he be better than a 43-year-old Tom Brady?
That would be the question.
That's it. That's it, Skip. That's it in a nutshell. Because when he got sent to the bench because they wanted to see if Ryan Finley was their guy, he was 1 yard. He was 4th in passing. Tom Brady was 5th. They were separated by a yard.
Okay.
So the question is, at this point next year, not this point, at the start of the season, will Andy Dalton be better than a 43-year-old Tom Brady? I believe Coach Belichick thinks he could. I'm not saying he's going to do that, but I believe Coach Belichick believes that he would.
Okay. The reason I love this topic is because I love Peter King, and I've known him forever.
He's plugged in.
Nobody is more plugged in, and he doesn't just throw things up against the wall to see if they'll stick.
Nope.
This came from somewhere. He was doing the hypothetical what if. Wouldn't it be interesting if, his sort of gut feeling was, Bill would like to go forward with an Andy Dalton.
Right.
I'm going to guess he's heard that from maybe the man himself. I got an eye on him.
They're posed, I hear from him, but I got to pose it as a hypothetical.
Correct. So now my answer to this question is, there is no way he could win a Super Bowl with Andy Dalton. I like Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton is pretty good, but his career QBR in Cincinnati, albeit for the bungles, whatever you want to call them, but he's a little below average. He's 48 on a scale of 0 to 100. That's his career QBR. He's pretty good, and he'll win some games.
Have his moments.
Okay, I just want to drive home the fact that you would be replacing the greatest clutch player this league has ever seen on the biggest stage in the sport.
Right.
Because if you just quickly look back at what Brady did, could Andy Dalton do all these things? Remember, as a first-year starter, when John Madden's up there in the booth saying they got to shut it down and play for overtime in that first Super Bowl against St. Louis Rams, he let him throw 8 passes. He completed 5 and set up a 49-yard field goal, and the rest is Super Bowl history.
Correct.
And then against Carolina the next year, Tom Brady completed 4 or 5 passes for 47 more yards to set up Adam Vinatieri for a game-winning field goal. And then against the Giants in the one they lost, when they could have been undefeated, obviously, Brady did what he always has done. He completed 8 passes for 71 yards and the touchdown that with 2 minutes to go put them ahead. Okay? And then we go to the Seattle Super Bowl. He was just extraordinary in the fourth quarter. 13 of 15 for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. They came from 24 to 14 down to win the game. And again, it took the beast mode decision at the end and the Malcolm Butler interception.
But Skip, I think the thing is that Coach Belichick is going to look at it. He says, look, I had the #1 scoring defense. I believe I can bring this defense back pretty much in check. The question, and he says, as long as I don't ask Andy Dalton to win me a game 38-41, because Tom Brady didn't win that game. That was 41-33. So he says, if I can keep it close, can Andy Dalton make a play here or there that be the difference?
I'm trying to show you, to demonstrate how many times Tom Brady was extraordinarily clutch and pulled out games that Andy Dalton would not be capable of pulling out. Because then you go to the Atlanta Super Bowl. He throws for 246 in the fourth quarter and overtime. It's unheard of. It's impossible, leading to 505 yards, the all-time playoff record, against the Eagles in a game they lost, but Brady put up 33 points.
You do know Coach Belichick, the way he looks at it. He's looking at it like, if you look at the games that we lost, my defense played good enough for us to win. And the one time that our defense didn't play good, we lost. You do realize that, Skip.
They got about 41 points.
That's what I'm saying. The one time he's like, hold on, my defense held to 17. One time my defense, what was the final score? 17-14.
Which one?
The first Giants loss.
It was 17-14 because they went ahead 14-10 with 2 minutes left.
He's like, my defense gave up 17 points. My defense gave, and the next time they're around, what was it, 20-17, 21, something like that? He's like, hold on. As long as I don't get into a shootout, I can keep it close to the vest. Can Andy Dalton and Skip look? Let's not kid ourselves. There's no way I'm putting not in the same galaxy. If there's more than one, I don't know how many galaxies there is, but Andy Dalton isn't in the one that Tom Brady's in. But Coach Belichick, Skip, you have to go into the mind of coach. You know how coaches are, Skip. They believe it's them, just like the quarterbacks and players believe it's them. Because you tell Michael Jordan swears it ain't got nothing to do with Jerry Krause. He said it. Skip, he said it at his Hall of Fame induction.
He'll give Phil Jackson.
He give Phil, but he didn't get no organization.
No.
But he believes, Coach Belichick believes, I'm most responsible. I found him. I helped develop him. I let him sit, nurture him, yada, yada, yada. And my defenses. So he believes he can get not 6, but 1.
How about the 2 AFC championship games recently? Could Andy Dalton do this? They're down 20-10 early in the fourth quarter to Jacksonville at Foxborough. And in the fourth quarter, Tom Brady throws for 138 and brings them back to win with 12 stitches in the palm of his throwing hand. And then how about 3 straight 3rd and 10 conversions in overtime at Kansas City last year in the cold? Andy Dalton can't do that. Bill Belichick benefited greatly from all the above. And then you blast Brady for his performance in the last Super Bowl last year. Well, on that one drive, he went 4 of 4 for 67 yards, including the big throw to Gronk, and that won the game.
Right, but that's what but see, Coach Belichick is looking at it. It's like Coach Belichick's in his office, Skip. He's like, the last two playoff games, I got the greatest quarterback that hadn't thrown a touchdown, that has 2 interceptions. And we scored 13 points in both games. One game, the team was absolutely healthy against a defensive coordinator that just wasn't rehired. They didn't bring Wade Phillips back. And again, in my building.
By the way, I don't know why they didn't, but that's just me.
But Skip, and he said, hold on. In our building, we scored 13. My defense gave up 14 points. And I can't win a game?
And you gave Tom Brady the worst supporting cast in the NFL this year?
But Coach Belichick says, you know, I gave you the best defense, arguably, that you've ever had.
Okay, well, the bottom line to this discussion is I just hope that Andy Dalton does become next year's quarterback of the New England Patriots, because I can't wait to see what doesn't happen.
And then you best right to see, I think the Super Bowl's in Tampa next year?
I don't know. Is it?
Tampa, Arizona? And then Andy Dalton is taking snaps on the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl.
You think so?
In the Super Bowl, then what you going to say?
We might have a little dew on that.
No, I'm just saying.
Joey is too soon for that.
We might have a swimming pool full of dew on that one.
We know the next QB.
Red Rifle. Old Red Rifle might need some resurgence.
Yeah.
I'm not saying. But Coach Belichick.
Do you realize the pressure Red Rifle would feel to step into those shoes in that stadium up there?
I want to be the guy that follows the guy.